Nothing for two. Goodbye. The life of a film director isn't easy when a streak of bad luck hits. A man used to applause loses the favor of the public and clings to his arrogance. That pride drives him to make his own homemade movie, without realizing he's leaving a dangerous crack open in his world, one that soon threatens to swallow him whole. That man is Sasha. He has written and directed films that have brought him prestige and a comfortable life in a large house in the woods, next to a quiet lake. In recent years, his projects have failed to spark interest, but he refuses to accept responsibility and insists that the problem lies with the audience. While his producer calls him relentlessly, Sasha ignores the phone and shuts down any attempt at conversation. While dodging another call, he steps out into the yard to get some air. Elena, his beautiful wife, reproaches him for not answering his producer, who is waiting for him at the presentation of the new project. He refuses without batting an eye, to which she tells him that she has already spoken to the producer and promised he would attend. Sasha becomes furious and reminds her that she is not his secretary, making the atmosphere at home tense and setting the stage for the next clash. With no other choice, Sasha attends the conference and presents his new proposal. He speaks, shares his vision, but no one seems interested. In fact, several people leave while he is still on stage. His voice lingers in a silent room and his ego begins to crack. Shortly after, he is interviewed on television about his latest work. Sasha declares that he never needed anyone to achieve success, and that he doesn't intend to need anyone. Meanwhile, his wife Elena watches the broadcast while preparing dinner. It's clear that her husband's arrogance weighs on her, and her resentment grows in silence. In the following days, Sasha tries to relax, but his neighbors won't let him. Among them, a civil guard comes in to inspect the house. She finds a poorly stored weapon and unexpectedly finds him. The penalty irritates him and his sense of being persecuted intensifies. Shortly after, his producer visits him. He arrives upset about recent failures and Sasha's bad attitude. Sasha acts indifferent and blames others for his bad streak. The producer decides to cut off contact, which leaves Sasha without a budget, meaning there will be no new films. Basically, he's left out of the industry, so the emptiness pushes him toward an impulsive decision. With everything against him, Sasha decides to make his own homemade movie. He writes a script and forces Elena to act. He calls acquaintances to join the project. Among them is Alex, a young actor, who arrives with his new conquest, Nina, a striking girl eager for power. The next day, John arrives, who will be the cameraman. The team settles into the property so that the improvised shoot is left in the hands of a harsh director. With everything ready, Sasha walks to the lake to clear his mind. From the dock, he watches John and Nina swimming together in the distance. Suddenly, they seem to argue, so Nina gets out of the water and walks toward the dock. Her body stuns Sasha. To make matters worse, she shakes the water off her body with uninhibited movements. She jumps and sways shamelessly while Sasha can't take his eyes off her. From that moment on, something dangerous begins to ignite. The next morning, Nina spends her time near Sasha under the pretense of helping with the filming, something that puts Elena on alert. Meanwhile, the man gives in to the proximity of the beautiful young woman. At night, the two go for a walk in the woods, and during their stroll, she suggests they become lovers. Excited, Sasha moves closer and tries to touch her. However, Nina runs off before he can reach her, leaving him anxious and confused. The filming continues. They are intense and exhausting because of Sasha, since he demands, yells, and humiliates with fervor. He criticizes everyone and singles out Elena, whom he corrects without mercy. John and Alex grit their teeth to avoid complaining openly. They prefer to please the director, rather than provoke an even bigger outburst. Sasha directs as if every scene owed him money. If there were an Oscar for worst attitude on set, his shelf would already be full. During a break, Elena talks with Alex and John and discovers that Sasha has paid them to act and film, while she hasn't received a single cent. Of course, this discovery discourages her. The guys suggest that she should ask to be paid for her work, that she should value herself. But Elena stays silent, swallows the injustice, and decides not to say anything, though resentment begins to grow. As night falls, Sasha takes a walk with Nina around the property. She asks him to show her the garage. Once inside, he thinks they'll end up in bed. Nina teases him and pushes the boundaries. She hints that she could be his lover if he gives her a leading role. He is left thinking, tempted by the offer that mixes desire and ambition, without noticing the trap. Meanwhile, Elena cries in the kitchen. She suspects that her husband desires Nina and hates the mistreatment she receives. At that moment, Alex comes in and seeing her becomes concerned. The woman disguises her crying by saying it's because of the onion she's chopping. Faced with this, the man doesn't insist. Alex approaches, hugs her from behind and kisses her. His hands move over her body. Elena gets scared, afraid of being seen, but she doesn't stop him. Desire overcomes fear and they end up giving in to each other in silence. The next morning, Sasha receives a sudden and passionate kiss from Nina in his office. She turns him on and leaves him with that thought stuck in his mind. He savors that momentary victory, unaware that the tension is rising in every direction. Hours later, they return to the set. Elena and Alex have to play a couple. Sasha directs them sternly. He asks them to get closer, look into each other's eyes, and kiss. At first, he notices the discomfort between the couple, but within seconds he sees an inexplicable chemistry between them that makes him jealous. Because of this, he tries to get Elena not to look at Alex, but to seek him out with her gaze while she says her lines. Despite the pressure, Elena remains unshakable. At dusk, Alex, Sasha, Nina, and Elena go into the woods to light a campfire. At that moment, Nina sings, and Elena joins in. The song sounds like a declaration of love. As a result, glances bounce between couples and lovers. Nina looks at Alex and then fixes her eyes on Sasha, who returns her gaze. Elena notices it. She observes her husband, and he nervously looks back at her. Then, Elena casually looks at Alex, and their eyes meet for longer than usual. Sasha senses something strange. Now Elena feels her husband's gaze and looks back at him with a hint of fear, afraid that everything will come to light. Later, Sasha receives a visit from his mother since she wants to talk to him. He replies that she could have called on the phone and that her visit wasn't necessary. He says this because the old woman's presence irritates him. Then, she tells him that her husband, Sasha's stepfather, has died and left him his entire fortune. Now that's good news, so the director lights up at the thought of becoming a millionaire. Feeling the money in his hands, he wants to celebrate. That night, they organize a dinner with the entire film crew. Sasha announces that he will use his mother's money for his big project. He says that with that amount, he won't need anything or anyone. His colleagues and his mother feel uncomfortable. They call him selfish and egocentric because of the way he behaved during the shoot. His mother clarifies that she doesn't intend to fund any project, not only because she doesn't want to, but also because she doesn't think Sasha is the right person, given how he treats his employees and his wife. Sasha's shine suddenly fades and he is left speechless by the harsh reality check. The next day, his mother leaves and says goodbye only to Elena, since Sasha is so upset that he won't see her off. Instead, he takes a steam bath with one of his colleagues. The man tries to talk some sense into Sasha. He talks to him about respect, about the team, about work, but Sasha doesn't listen as a life lesson. Instead, he responds with a punch to the face. Out of control, Sasha seeks comfort in Nina. He goes to her room. He opens the door and finds her together with Alex. The sight drives him mad. Because of this, he drags Alex out into the yard under a torrential downpour and forces him to act in front of the camera. He yells, films, humiliates. The commotion brings out Elena, John, and Nina, who comes back to try to stop him. Suddenly, the director bursts into tears. The helplessness of feeling useless breaks him down. The others are left stunned by his vulnerable side and don't know how to support him. The rain falls hard, but not as hard as Sasha's dignity. Next, dawn breaks. Nina packs her things and leaves the property after failing to become the lover of a wealthy old man. After the chaos, Sasha tries to pull himself together. He declares the film finished and plans to celebrate the success he imagines. He invites friends, family, and neighbors to toast as if nothing had happened. That night, he sleeps with Elena to give her love. She doesn't want to, but ends up reluctantly agreeing. The silence between them weighs more than any promise. Later, he takes Alex's car out to clear his mind. He drives aimlessly, when suddenly the car breaks down and shuts off. He walks back through the forest. When he enters the house, he doesn't find Alex or his wife, so he decides to go to the nearby cabin where Alex is staying. From outside, he hears unmistakable noises. The moans leave no room for doubt. They are cheating on him just a few meters from his home. Enraged, he runs to his office, grabs a shotgun, and returns to the cabin. He fires blindly through the open window. Elena's and Alex's screams mix together. Sasha doesn't know if he has wounded them or killed them. Panic drags him toward the dock. He gets into a boat and heads out toward the center of the lake. He decides he's going to take his last breath. He can't find the courage. From the dock, Elena, Alex, and Nina shout his name. He lies back in the boat, defeated, feeling like a loser who no longer controls anything. Suddenly, a neighbor approaches with some flyboards. The jet of water hits the boat and knocks the shotgun into the lake. The weapon disappears beneath the surface, and the tension hanging in the air comes to an end. Go watch another video now, because if you don't, I'll write a script worse than this ending.